Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Why am I so excited? Welcome back to the B2B Marketing Gap podcast with me, Jade. I've been in B2B marketing for 18 years. I'm a TikTok influencer and I run the B2B Breakthrough Academy, which is my 13-week program to help marketers just like you go from frazzled and overwhelmed, demotivated, to actually making your breakthrough in your company, getting more respect from leaders and creating a really simple to execute marketing strategy. Today is such an exciting day for me. We are going to start a 6-part series on how to create your marketing strategy step by step. Now, I know that I have done videos in the past where we looked at the 6 steps overall, but I always felt like I was skimming over them. So this time, what I wanted to do was deep dive into each section. So over the next 6 videos, you can join me in understanding each section. Why is this video going to be different to other marketing strategy advice that you get? Well, I built the course that I would have wanted when I was a frazzled and stressed out marketing manager. There is zero jargon in this video series. I'm going to talk to you about a really simple approach to creating your marketing strategy, because I imagine if you're anything like me, that is what you have craved. So we're going to go through it step by step. I'm going to explain to you how I personally tackle the challenges of helping a B2B company grow. So whatever industry you're in, I really feel like this is going to help you. Let's start by talking about a few different things when it comes to getting marketing reviews wrong, what needs to be included, and why they're so important. And then I'm actually going to demo to you my own template that I literally use and that the students of my course are using right now. Let's start by talking about what even is a marketing review. When I was studying marketing, I just found the words marketing audit really scary and confusing, and I felt so overwhelmed that when I was completing them, I honestly would just skip through the sections and just put in information that didn't really make much sense to me, but it was like checkbox, at least it's done. When you really think about it, a marketing review is really simply reviewing where we are now. It's sometimes called the situation analysis. I find that, again, overly business languagey, if that's even a phrase. The marketing review is what I call it. It's just reviewing the situation. What is happening? What's been working for us? What hasn't been working for us? And making sure that we document everything we're going to need before we move into the next stages. So why is a marketing review so important? Why can't we just jump ahead, create an Excel spreadsheet, map out all our campaigns and get to work? Well, if you are finding that your marketing is not getting you the results that you want, then it is probably because of the lack of strategic planning. And you can't plan to get to a destination unless you know where you want to get to and what holds you back from getting there. And so I feel like the marketing review, as much as it's the part I enjoy least in making a marketing strategy, I do believe that is the most important element, because it's the only part of your marketing strategy where you're actually documenting and gathering information. Note that I don't say insights. I really feel strongly that the word insights freaks us out. Information, that's all it is. If you're gathering customer insights, you're just pulling together information about your customers, whether that is interviewing them to find out what they care about or looking at data sets about how they buy things from you, how profitable they are. I just feel like the word insights freaks everyone out. The other reason that marketing reviews are so important is that you just really need to understand where you are right now and be super transparent and clear about the challenges you face in your marketing. If we're not open about the challenges we're facing, we can't move forward properly. And so it's really important within your marketing review to make sure that you've got all the cards on the table and that you're not trying to make it look better than it is. The situation, it is where you are. It is what it is. You've got to just make the best of it and document it honestly and openly so that you can communicate with your leaders about the challenges you face and how you recommend overcoming them. Okay, so why are marketing reviews so confusing? Before I became the founder of my course, the B2B Breakthrough Academy, I was coaching a lot of marketing managers and CEOs and hand-holding the process of creating that marketing strategy kind of together. One of the reasons I decided to make the course was the demand for it was too high and I wanted to do a one-to-many. And whenever I was looking at marketing reviews, I found that they were so overcomplicated. There was data in there that wasn't even being used or looked at, and they just didn't feel like there was much point in the things that they were documenting. And I think they're so confusing because no one really knows what they should be putting in them and why we're doing them in the first place. They often seem like just a tick box so that we can rush ahead to strategies, but we need to lay the foundations for what the challenges are, what stands in between us and getting to where we need to get to in terms of the business challenges. And I will talk about what to put in your marketing review soon so that you can make sense of all of this. But it just often feels like people are cramming loads of data in there because they feel like it should be there, but they don't really know how or when or if they're even going to use it. They're also super confusing because this might be controversial and people might not like this all the time, but I know that my friends in the B2B community do like this. Sometimes the models feel a bit freaky. Like, I get it. If you're in a huge global corporate with multiple stakeholders, huge marketing departments, head of marketing per country, a team of 10 per section within the marketing activity calendar, then yeah, you're going to need to get a little bit more nitty gritty with what you're looking at and all the different marketing models that we learn at uni or in our courses. Absolutely, like we should be looking into using them. What I will say is that when you're a marketing manager working on your own, it can feel a little bit draining to work on models that feel a little bit more removed from the reality of what you're doing every day, and it can suck all the life out of you and all the energy when all you really need to know is who are our customers, what are our competitors up to, like what's the data that we need to understand so that we can move forward. And we're just really overcomplicating it. So I think that is the biggest reason that we freak out about marketing audits. Okay, and what are we getting wrong about marketing audits? So things that I'm seeing in marketing reviews from people before they've taken my course is, first of all, skipping over it altogether and literally just jumping into strategies and tactics, which will generally never work because you're not coming from a place of understanding where the business needs to get to and the resources that you have and the budgets and all these things. You're just jumping ahead. Another big one is when they're created as more of a vanity parade, and I have literally done this myself. If you're presenting to very senior stakeholders and you feel like you need to make sure that your department is seen as valuable, it can feel very exposing to put the truth of the matter, which may be that we're not getting results. It may be that there is pretty much no leads coming in because we're just on the task wheel doing a bunch of stuff. But I would argue that this is a great opportunity to show that you are dedicated to getting results from marketing and you want to become a strategic marketer. So if in your review you can be more transparent and actually not just put in their numbers that look good but don't mean anything, then you're going to get much closer with your leaders to being heard, being understood. You can talk to them openly about challenges. For example, as you can see, the sales lead pipeline, there's gaps in the data because we don't have a CRM system that tells us confidently where sales are in the process and what's happening to the inquiries that we get. We're having difficulty with the sales alignment. They're not logging updates on what they're doing. And so another reason later in the strategy where I'll be encouraging us to look at data segmentation and overhauling our CRM systems with the help of external specialists is that we need to get this data so that we can understand where we are. It just starts really good conversations with your leaders. It's also really common to give up in a marketing review. And part of the B2B Breakthrough Academy is that I really talk to people about allocating enough time to their marketing review to really understand that it is a big piece of work and it can feel daunting at first. But if you get yourself set up properly to do it, you can absolutely fly it. And the rest of the marketing strategy will be so much easier. And obviously over the next 5 videos, I will be going into those sections. Okay, so what are you going to need to complete the marketing review? You're obviously going to need yourself, your amazing brain. You're going to need a willingness to feel a little bit uncomfortable. You're going to have to ask questions and potentially get a little bit of pushback from others in the business who may feel defensive if they don't have it. So this is where your softer skills can come into play, and you can set up meetings with people and get the information that you need and give them time and valuable support in helping them to get that information for you. To complete your marketing review, I recommend setting up 2 times 2-hour meetings with your leaders. So that could be commercial director, CEO, finance director. We're going to need to extract information from them. And when you work through the marketing review template in B2B Breakthrough Academy, or just by following this video series, I'm not here to sell my course. I'm here to help you get better as a B2B marketer. So if you can do it without buying the course, awesome. But if you do feel like you need that additional video guidance, community, and access to me, then you can obviously enroll, but there is zero pressure. this video series can really help you. So in these 2-hour meetings, you're going to ask your leaders to look at a list of information that you're going to need from them. So you can send them a bit of detail in the meeting invite to say, I need a couple of hours with you. 10 days from now, we're going to cover the following. And obviously, when you have your marketing review template ready, you can document what you're going to need from each person. You can look for the gaps and give them that time to prepare. Because if you just have that meeting with them, they're probably going to feel a little bit blindsided, maybe even exposed if you've got salespeople in front of CEOs. So give them that heads up and maybe even have a little chat with sales so that they're going to feel empowered rather than shown up. And then in the meeting, you can ask to go through that information, you can document it. If there are any sections that people got stuck on, like maybe within the customer review section, they've said, well, you're not speaking to customers. Within that meeting, you can make a case with why you need to get insights from customers. And then maybe you can have a bit more time in between, then meet up again in another week or so and just really review and finalize your review. The other thing that you're going to need, which I really struggle with, is you're going to need to let go of that perfectionism. It is okay if sections are incomplete in the sense of you documenting, we don't have access to that. A common challenge that some of the BBA students overcame during the process with me was they were trying to wait for the day when they would have everything they needed from their CRM system to answer the prescribed questions within the review. What I said to them was document for now that you can't get that information for reasons stated before, and that we need to assess that going forward so that in the next financial year, when we do our marketing strategy, hopefully we will have that information. So what you don't want to do is procrastinate, trying to get it perfect so that you never get anything out. But it's a fine balance to make sure that you don't end up simply like skipping over sections. For example, one of the biggest ones that people do is they skim over customer profiles. They just write the industry, size of business, type of decision maker. It's not thorough enough. You've got to give it that time. You've got to get those insights. And even if you don't have them all readily available, putting it into your plan, how you are going to get those is going to be so valuable. Before I show you the template, let's just review the 6 steps in your marketing strategy. So obviously today we're looking at marketing review. And then in our second video as part of this series, we're going to look at marketing objectives and how to do them and setting your budgets. That's going to be a really cool one because I'm going to give you a literal calculator for coming up with what your budget is right now and how that fares against what it should be. And also some examples of marketing objectives that are good and bad for you to really think about how you can create yours. In the third video in the series, we're going to look at how to select the right marketing strategies for your marketing plan. And we're going to also talk a lot about what is the difference between strategies and tactics and how to make sure that you don't divorce them from your business goals and from those objectives that you set while keeping everything in mind from your review. Next, we're going to move into tactics. And this is where it gets really fun because you can start to create that activity calendar. What are we actually going to do with what resources and how are we going to implement all of this and how are we going to use our budget? And then the last one is the one that I don't enjoy at all, which is how to measure and manage. So it's basically talking about the templates that I have where you've got a marketing report, a nice simple one where you only measure what is necessary and it gives you indications of whether you're on track and it helps you to create that report that you need for your leaders. And in the last video, we are going to look at how to actually present to your leaders because I feel like that one was always missing with marketing strategy. It'd be like, here's how to do a strategy, but I didn't want to just send like a 40-page document to leaders. So I'm going to talk you through how to prepare to actually present to your leaders. Let's dive into looking at the marketing review. So first off, we are going to look at the company background, and you're just going to document basic information like the structure of the company, all of the different details, how many people work there, just all the basics so that everything is neat in one place. If ever someone asks you, how many employees have we got? Like you can just reference it. If ever you needed to cost up something to do with, I don't know, number of employees, it'd be there. And it just really helps you to make sure that you've documented everything accurately and up to date. We're also going to include in there a sales review. So really important numbers like, I don't know, the average spend from each customer, what your sales targets are, what your conversion rates look like, maybe the time it takes for prospects to move through your funnel. And again, this is not prescriptive. I've included in there the things that I recommend, but everybody's business will be different. So you can even use tools like ChatGPT to help you to tweak some areas of this template. You'll also be looking at the vision, mission, and business strategy for the company, and these are woefully misunderstood in most cases. Let me explain it really clearly. So the vision is your someday. Where do you guys see yourself? What is the vision for where you want to get to? In the future, what would the world look like when you're finished with it, when you've achieved what you wanted to achieve? So it's about your impact on the world, what you're going to change. So my vision is a world where every B2B marketer feels strategic and confident and is respected in their workplace. That's the world I want to see. So everything I do is toward that vision. And my own marketing strategy is about how do I get from where I am now to that future vision? And even if it's lofty, even if I can't achieve it, that everyone in the world is more strategic, then at least I'm working towards it. That is my vision for the future. Your mission is the everyday. What's the constant purpose? What's the reason we're here? So a construction business that I worked with, their mission was to make the property and construction process simpler. And that's because they were project managers. They were helping projects run smoothly. So everything they did was around that mission. So if someone went wrong with a cost report for a project, they could literally say, hey, is that going to make the property construction process easier and simpler? No, it's not. Okay, that's not upholding our mission. Everything they do is about upholding that mission. Everything connects back with that. And so then their business strategy becomes what stands in our way of achieving the vision and upholding the mission. That's just the simplest way I can think of. What stands in our way? Okay, we need to invest in AI and tech because we have slow manual processes. Okay, we've got a talent shortage. We need more people in because we've got these amazing projects, but no one to do them. Oh, we need new customers. So looking at what the key focus areas are for your business, and there are prompts within the review template to really help you get that out of your business. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes when you ask your business, like, what is the business strategy? They get a little bit funky. They talk about jargon, and really you want to have just a down-to-earth conversation. Like, where do we want to get to? How are we going to get there? What's in our way at the moment? What are your biggest challenges? What's keeping you awake? So everything is in there within the review. In the next section of the review, we look at the current activity assessment. So you can really log everything you're working on and how effective it is and what results it's bringing you. And it's just a really good, simple template to just jot down, like, here's just like brain dump, like everything that's going on so that we've got clarity and like, whoa, look how many things we're doing, like with low to medium impact. Like, shouldn't we just be doing 3 or 4 things to high impact? This is a great way for you to just throw it all down. Maybe you did a YouTube channel, only did 2 videos a year ago, and like, oh, that's something we're doing, but have we really gone for it? So just really assess it for yourself. You don't have to worry about how you present this to leaders at this point. This is for you to truly see in plain sight what is happening with your marketing. You can also include in here like a table about the task wheel, all the hundreds of unnecessary tasks you're working through, and maybe even a matrix of how many hours you're spending on things like brochure updates, sales admin support. Maybe later on in your strategy, you can be recommending reducing those, and you can also recommend hiring a sales admin support person so that they can take those off you and then you can focus on being strategic. This is again why the review is so valuable. Within this section, we're also going to look at leads and pipeline performance, how your funnel is functioning, numbers, things like that, and also channel by channel performance analysis. So this is where you get into that nitty gritty of the stats for your website, any social channels you're using, any content, anything else that has got metrics that you need to log, without going overhaul and just throwing things in there that are not necessary. Just a little shout out to anyone listening on the podcast. You might get more value watching this. I should have said it earlier. On YouTube, B2B Jade TV, you can watch this video series and it's going to show the template in real life in action, including samples. So it might be easier for you to watch. Completely your call. I have also linked in the show notes the literal template we're talking about. That is my freebie to you, so that if nothing else, even if you never join B2B Breakthrough Academy, at least you can work through this template yourself. What I will say is that if you do struggle working through it and feel overwhelmed, it might just be that you do need the course because it's got a literal explainer in-depth video for every single section, like 10-minute videos explaining 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and demoing how to complete them with live examples. So hopefully it's enough for you to get started. If you feel like you need that guidance, because it is a lot, you may want to consider looking into joining B2B Breakthrough Academy. We would love to see you in there, obviously. And so the next section is where we look at resources. In 1.3, we look at which people have you got, like who's in your team, what are they working on? what tools and tech do you currently have? Like put a list of subscriptions, any technology you're using, tools, equipment, and then also your agency partners. Who are you working with? What are they doing? What are the limitations? What are the positives? Obviously, be mindful that they may end up reading this in the future. So maybe create a copy that is less honest if you need to share it. And then we also have the budget. So really an assessment of what you're spending on your marketing to date and whether that feels too low or too high. And again, there's a calculator in there to help you. Section 1.4 is where we look at offering, price, and positioning. And offering is just documenting what you sell, like what's included, what it is, like just getting it all down there. Price, we want to look at like, how do you price yourselves? How does that work? Do you offer some form of indication of pricing in your online space? Is that something that is quite normal in your industry? That's definitely a barrier if you're not doing it and others are, even giving some kind of calculation or indication. Then also looking at what pricing model you're using. So I give examples of those within the template. And then just figuring out, okay, how do we fare against competitors? Are we more on the premium end? Are we cheap and cheerful? Like how do we place ourselves? So keeping it simple still, because I always found these ones really meaty and complicated and they just don't need to be. Then when we look at positioning, we're talking about like, where do we want people to put us in their mind? So imagine that your customer's brain is a filing cabinet. Literally, where do you want to position them? Position yourself. And positioning can also mean, where do we want to be uniquely seen? So what is it that's better about us than the other options available, and communicating that. So really documenting in this section, there's loads of exercises in the template to help you to document whether or not you've got clear brand positioning. In my experience, most B2B companies purely have, here's what we do and who we do it for. And that is not brand positioning. They talk about being trustworthy, good quality, I should hope so, and access to experts. Well, yeah, if you're an accountancy firm, I would expect you to be an expert at accounting. I'm just saying. So when you think about B2C brands that are huge, like Apple, they don't say we make phones and we have plants all over the country, all over the world producing these phones. They talk about like what the benefit to you is going to be, what the functionality means for your life, capturing moments with an incredible camera as opposed to talking about the camera. Then again, that's a bad idea because Apple are pretty bad at just talking about features sometimes. You can tell I'm a B2B marketer. But the point is documenting how well are you at articulating, here is why people should choose us, not the other options, and how verifiable is that? Is it based on customer insights? Or did a brand design agency just come up with it like after an internal workshop where you told them about how good you are? Really look at how clear your brand positioning is. In section 1.5, we're going to look at customers. We're going to look at what market segments you are working with and targeting, what offerings match with those, any crossovers, the pain points, their needs, how it connects with your business. But again, really simple. And then we also look at customer insights. So we're really going to be thinking about, from an internal perspective, how confident are we that we meet our customers' needs? How well set up are we? If we were a customer, what would our experience be when communicating with different departments? Are things joined up? Are we a customer-centric business? There's a ton of questions in there to help you find out where you're at with your customers. And then I've also included in the template a nice little breakdown of questions that you can ask your ideal customers. So I recommend hosting 10 to 12 interviews with different types of customers and working through the questions to understand like what frustrates them about this market in general. What do they really like about working with companies in our market? What do they dislike? Like what do they consider the bad service to be? What frustrates them? Why did they choose us over the other options? What's better about us? Where could we improve? There is so much. Like I obviously love this topic. As much as I dislike analytics and reviews, I love customer interviews. And actually, I used to do customer interviews as part of my partnership with a really big marketing agency that I work with. If you ever need a marketing agency, just ask, I will put you in touch. And I used to do the interviews, so I would talk to the different clients and find out what was really unique and the sweet spot for these brands. So it is literally the questions I used to ask after doing dozens and dozens of brand positioning projects. And then section 1.6 is your competitor analysis. I don't know why some people say that you shouldn't look at your competitors. I'm appalled. Like, Yeah, don't get obsessed with them, don't copy them, but you do need to know what they're doing. You need to understand like what they're up to, how they're positioning themselves, because you're going up against them. Now, if you've got loads and loads of competitors, like hundreds of small accountancy firms, what I want you to do is just pick 3 of the big players that come up frequently and a few local partners who their name seems to come up quite a lot in your organization. So maybe you regularly lose out to them or regularly win from them. Just pick a few that are representative of your industry. You'll be looking at how you compare to them as a business, how they position themselves, what type of marketing activity you can find, and just really simply documenting that. Oh my gosh, I hate marketing reviews. It makes me tired just talking about them. Such a good point to make here is that you do not need to enjoy this. I love content creation calendars, like brainstorming strategies and solutions. And the marketing review is so important, but it doesn't mean I enjoy it. Like talking about it is frying my brain. I'm so done. I'm having a big decaf coffee and a donut as soon as I turn this off. And the last section, 1.7, I promised you absolutely no models, absolutely no jargon. I'm sorry to tell you that we do have a SWOT analysis, and I will tell you why. I have tried to make it as not jargony as possible. The SWOT analysis is really valuable. So put simply, it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. People get really stuck on what's the difference. So your strengths and weaknesses are internal to your business. What are we really good at? So your internal perspectives, like what are we really good at? What are our strengths as a business? And what are we not so good at? What's our weaknesses, our weaknesses? And then opportunities and threats are external factors to consider. And so a lot of the time people do a PESTEL analysis, but I just tend to kind of weave it in. I just feel like you can do a PEST analysis if you want. There's nothing bad about that. But yeah, I just didn't want to kill you by so many sections in the review. So within the template, you will see that I have given some prompt questions. Within B2B Breakthrough Academy, there is a sample completed one. So if anyone did get stuck with like, I need help with like how it should actually be done, that's within there too. And obviously the community for me and others to ask questions and the live Q&As. But you've got a lot of guidance within this free template that I've linked in the show notes. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of examples. So your strengths could be that you've got a really well-covered network, that you can be competitive in your pricing because you're a lot closer to your clients, maybe. Weaknesses could be that you've got loads of manual tasks taking up loads of time, your marketing budget's too low. It could be that your staff are not all experts. So you've got some people who are fairly junior and the experts are running out of capacity. So you've got a resourcing issue. And then when we move into opportunities, it could be that maybe there is a competitor who's recently folded or is in trouble, and there's an opportunity for you to win some new clients off the back of that by highlighting how strong your positioning is, how yours can support them if anything is to change. Maybe after doing some interviews with your clients, you found that there is an opportunity for a new service that would be of interest, and you've researched on the market that there are other people offering something similar and you think you'd be really good at that. So a great opportunity to enter into a new territory. And in terms of threats, maybe your competitors are speeding ahead of you with AI. Maybe you're too manual and you're really scared because they seem to be getting cheaper because they're bringing in AI and doing more with less people, meaning they can be cheaper than you. That's a genuine threat right now for all businesses, I believe. In fact, my husband's business, I've got a workflow set up with an AI consultant so that they can do exactly that and become more profitable and do more with less people. And another threat, maybe a piece of policy has changed in your industry. That means that the way that you work has to change, and that's going to be costly to you. Or maybe it threatens your service altogether. Maybe someone new has moved into your market. I'll give you a great example. A company that I was working with, they had their local competitors and they were doing fine. And then all of a sudden overnight, one of the really big law firms in the city just like opened up a division that was competing with them. But because they were doing the legal work for all of these clients, they were able to really quickly take them and say, hey, why don't you just come to us at everything? And so like almost overnight, loads of these local players lost like 20% of their customers for illustrative purposes. So that kind of thing is a threat that we need to keep an eye on. We need to keep close to understanding what is happening in our market and who could come out of the woodwork. That completes what is included in the marketing review. For anyone who's just like totally freaked out about this, because I know it's a lot of information, like It is a lot to do, but with the right planning, you can really chunk it down and get there. If you're feeling like you can open this document and complete it in 2 hours, no chance. You need to give yourself a few weeks. And in B2B Breakthrough Academy, it is actually a 13-week program with each module having 2 weeks. But this one has 3 for that very reason. So give yourself time. Take your first bit of time to go through the sections and get your head into what is in this, like what am I comfortable with, what am I not comfortable with, and then you can go through that and you can contact your leaders with the bits that you need their help on, and just giving yourself that time and seeing it as a bigger piece of work is going to really help you. Just remember that this is the most intense part of the process. It's also the least fun part of the process. So you've got to get your head strong. You've got to get that desire to want to be strategic. Let me tell you, if you do this review well, you will get such high regard in your business. The amount of CEOs that contact me to say like, wow, thank you for B2B Breakthrough Academy. My marketing manager is absolutely smashing it. You'd be amazed. So follow this process and you will already win brownie points with your leaders. And on that note, use it to build relationships. Don't just think of it as a tick box exercise. Talk to your leaders and sales colleagues. Say, look, I am so conscious that I want our marketing to do so well and I want to support your business strategy and your sales targets. I want to spend some time with you to truly understand the challenges that we're facing, to understand where you want to get to, so that I can be the biggest ally for what you need and I can help you get those results. And this is something I'm so passionate about, to help you. And if you can give me some things, I'm going to be able to do that. Great. So make sure you get the template. You can get that through the link in show notes, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. The next one is going to be about how to move into setting your marketing objectives and your budget. And I am actually really excited for that one because that's my favourite one. It's so refreshing, so fun, it makes so much sense, and it's not immediately that easy, but it is a simple to follow process. Please let me know in comments if you are going to start the marketing review. I would love to hear from you. Any questions at all that you have, you can always contact me, ask me questions about the course. I have also linked the B2B Breakthrough Academy Leaders Guide in the show notes for you. So if you do feel like you could use that extra support with my ridiculous volumes of video trainings for every single module, my live Q&As that happen regularly, and access to me and others taking the course within our community, and also a ton of mindset motivation boosts so that you can work on things like managing your mental health, getting more assertive at work, dealing with leaders, dealing with mean salespeople. This course is designed to help you make your breakthrough, and I'm so excited to help you make that breakthrough, whether it's within the course or you just following along in this video series. Thank you so much for listening. As usual, you can find me on TikTok, B2B Jade TV on YouTube, and the B2B Marketing Gap podcast on any podcasting platform. Find out more about the course at b2bjade.com, and we've also linked a page specifically for it, as well as the checkout with a bonus £100 off coupon. If you've made it this far, you get to type in YouTube and you get £100 off. So well done for making it this far, and I'm so excited to see you next time. Bye! Yay!